I'm going to do a quick turnaround on my camera and show you guys all of the supplies that are needed to make this possible. And I will include links in the video that I upload to YouTube, so you guys can just click those links and follow them. A lot of the stuff I got from just Amazon, and so they're pretty affordable things. But yeah, let me go ahead and flip my camera around. So the first thing that is needed, well, not necessary, but I really like to do it, is a light box. And this one's relatively small, and I used it. I used to do product photography, and so this is just a really cool option to get like even lighting on your subject, or just to kind of isolate your subject from all of the other light. Now, currently I have this awful overhead light shining just so you guys can see everything, but eventually that will turn off. The other cool thing that I like about this light box is this is removable up here. So sometimes you can put just like a thing to cover that also has like a reflective surface. So as you can see, there's like this whole thing is reflective. And it comes with all these like really cool little backdrops that you can put in there to reflect light. And that just kind of slides in there. So um, that is what I'm going to be using for that. And it is really important to, if you're going to be using a light box, one that can open up here, because you want to be able to have better access to drop the liquid on your flowers. Um, I am just using one of my candles to give some height to the jar that I'm going to be putting on here when we put the flowers into it. So just something to kind of prop it up a little bit, give it some space in between the ground and where the bottom of the vase will be. Um, the other thing, okay, so then over here I have a stack of paper towels because obviously we're dealing with water, we're dealing with milk. So having some paper towels is important. This is just filled with regular water. I know I am not using fancy sparkling water for this. I drank all of the fancy sparkling water, and now I just refilled it so that I can fill my vase. I have my can opener, and we're going to be using evaporated milk today. So you can use, if you wanted to do uh, regular milk, you can do that as well. It'll be a little less thick than the evaporated milk. You can also do sweetened condensed milk, which will be thicker than evaporated milk. And you can also do things, you can do it with like acrylic based inks. So if you wanted to do some color, I also picked some white daisies today. So I think what I'll do is I'll mix some paint in with this, and we'll drop it over the white daisies, which is something that I don't know if it'll work, but we're going to figure it out together. So you need some sort of like white-ish liquid. I have this little jar just to mix it in and be able to access it from. Sorry, excuse me. Some sort of syringe is going to be really helpful so that you can draw the liquid up. And then, like I said, you'll be able to access your flowers from here. So some sort of cheap syringe, or there's like little droppers you can also get. Um, I have a paintbrush just to mix my milk with. These are lights, and I currently have two out. I'll probably only use one though. So these actually came with another light box that I had. But these are really helpful to use because they are just really powerful lights that come on a like a slide right here. So if I press this, I'll show you guys, it might be kind of bright, very bright, but you can also change the brightness of it based on these buttons right here. And so we'll be playing around with that a little bit just to see kind of where we want to direct the light. Um, this also has a built-in light. So let me show you guys that, because if you decide you want to get this white box, um, then you can see what the light looks like in here. And again, it's just the same kind of concept. Let me see where the power button is. Bright AF, but you can also adjust it there as well. So, and I, for this particular project, the reason why I'm going to be using this instead is because I want much more of a dramatic light on my flowers. And so this is very uniform lighting currently. It's like a ring light up at the top. It's going to provide very uniform, very even lighting. It's not going to give you like dramatic highlights. It's not going to give you dramatic shadows, which is something that I am aiming to do with this project. And so I am actually going to turn that awful thing off for now. Let me plug my phone charger back in. And you'll see that if we put this guy in, like we can create a lot cooler like shadows and highlights and figure out how we want to light the flower and just be a little bit more in control of the light source. So let me turn that off for a moment. Okay. Then I have my vase of flowers, and they're currently just sitting in water so that they don't start wilting. I want them to be fresh flowers when I put them underwater. These are all just flowers from my garden, and but you could use any sort of flower. We are going to be using these black ones today, which I thought would be kind of cool with the white liquid. And then with the white daisies is what I would like to try to mix some pigment in with the milk and see if it would look cool with pigment dripping off of that. Oh, I also have a little columbine here that we're going to try as well. These little clips or clips of any kind are really good. Just if you want to clip your light on anything, if you need to just kind of hold anything in place. So those things are really helpful to have. Flower frogs are really helpful. And this one is a pack that I got from Amazon that actually has like several different shapes, or sorry, not shapes, sizes. So there's one that's like a lot smaller than this, and a medium one. This is the largest one that I have, and it's like weighted. So it's important that you get something that is weighted that you can stick your flower stems into because otherwise they're going to float and they're not going to stay in place when you start putting them underwater. So this is actually relatively heavy, and we'll be able to put the stems kind of right in there, and that'll be really great. So flower frogs. I already talked about the paintbrush, talked about the syringe. This is the vase that we're going to be using, and so I'll set it up here just so you guys can kind of see how I'm creating that, that, of course it's uneven, creating that height with it, because the subjects are going to be like right here. So it's important to me to be able to be able to not have to have my camera this low, but be able to have it up a little bit and just have a little bit more control over it. So eventually we'll be putting water in that, which I will just set that there for now. And then I've got a pair of scissors because I am really bad at reading measurements and thought that this was I'm also dyslexic, which is very unfortunate at times. So this is a 4-inch deep, 8 inches wide. I read it as 8 inches deep, 4 inches wide. Did not get that. So it's a little bit opposite of what I was wanting. So I would definitely recommend, and I'll send a link to the correct one. I would recommend getting something a little bit taller. It doesn't have to be this wide unless you plan on doing like multiple flowers at once. But I would definitely love to get more height. And so definitely for me, I will have to be trimming my roses to pretty much like a nub of a stem just so they actually fit in there. So don't make that mistake. But like I said, I will send the correct link. And then I have my camera that I'm using my macro lens on. I also have used my wider angle lens as well, which actually lets me get relatively close to the vase itself. But for today, I'm going to be just using my macro lens. So those are the supplies needed. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to set you up over here. Okay. I'm going to clip you to my thing. Okay. I'm going to turn off this awful light so you guys don't have to stare at that much longer. Scoot over a little. Okay. You guys can kind of see that okay? I know there's no light on it yet, but there will be here in just a second. I'm also going to see if I can find something a little bit more. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just lay that down like that. Okay. And I have it directly under the hole here. And so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just mix the liquid. Maybe turn on this light for just a minute longer. I'm going to go ahead and open my evaporated milk. You don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way. So make sure you also look up a recipe for what you can use the remainder of your evaporated milk for. And I'm just going to pour some in here. Perfect. Okay. This is probably even too much, but that's okay. Actually, for this part, it might actually be better for me to. That's a little better for you guys. Okay, so I've got my evaporated milk. I've got my vase. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take one of my flowers, and I did this color the other day. So we're gonna start with this beautiful one right here. Let go, little daisy. Let go, little daisy. Okay. Put these back over here. Okay, so as you can see, like if I had a deeper vase, that would be a lot better because currently I'm going to have to, like that's a pretty big rose. So I'm currently going to have to cut it to be like right underneath to be able to be fully submerged in there. So let me go ahead and just cut this. Okay. I'm going to grab my flower frog. And these are really pokey, so it pokes the stem very well, very nicely. So I'm just going to take it and push that down gently and refluff my flower. Okay, and then before I put it in, I'm gonna just take a look at the flower and figure out like where the shape is the best of where the milk will kind of drip off. And what I'm thinking is that petal came off. I'm thinking like somewhere like right in here. Like I'm hoping it'll kind of trickle down this way. And so I am going to move that for a minute so that you guys have a better view of how this is going to go. I'm going to gently place this in my vase. And so now it's weighted down, and I will be able to submerge that all the way. And so let me get some water going on this guy. Again, this is just regular water. I am not feeding him Pellegrino for the real. I have to get one more of these guys. Now I did make a mess of water a little bit, so, and this is why I have a bunch of paper towels because it can get messy. But now you guys can see like that rose is fully in there, and um, you get some air bubbles. That's also okay, but I might just try to tap it to get rid of some of those air bubbles. Okay. Also, make sure you wipe off any water that has dripped on the side, which I'll probably have to redo when I move it in there. But that way you're not photographing like water droplets on there, especially if you're using autofocus. It might focus on those rather than the inside of the flower. Okay. Okay. So clean this off a little. So again, this is pretty uniform lighting, like I said. It is, and I'll give you guys a little bit more of a closer look. So pretty uniform lighting. It's not going to be nearly as dramatic as the other light, which I'll show you the difference in doing how that can make a difference. Especially when you're trying to do things like capture milk and you want the light to be a little bit more directional. So I'm going to turn off the light to the box and bring in my other light. And so you can like light it from the bottom, you can light it from the side. Now, obviously, we're dealing with like a little bit of reflection in the vase, so you got to be careful with that. Sometimes it's even cool to get the light extremely close, and then it literally looks like it's like glowing in there, which is kind of cool. And that's just going to kind of accentuate the drops that are coming off of here. Underlighting it can also be a good option. So playing around with like the directionality of the light, as opposed to, again, it just being uniform lighting, just gives you a little bit more drama. Neither way is right or wrong. But if you're wanting it to be a lot more dramatic with the effect and the light and highlights and shadows and all that good stuff, one of these is the way to go. So let me put you back up here. Hold on. Let me move you back over here. Okay, now the other thing that is in your list of tools needed is going to be a tripod. Um, Tripod is going to be extremely helpful for this, simply because when you drop your liquid in, you got to kind of be able to have a free hand and all that good stuff. So sorry, I want to make sure that this isn't interfering with the video. There we go. Okay. However, that being said, I don't have a tripod currently. I ordered one from Amazon 2 days ago and it has not arrived yet. So I will be kind of just figuring this out. And so, but that's okay. I am up for the challenge. And so the first thing that I want to do is figure out the direction of the lighting that I want to get. And I kind of like it. I kind of liked it when it was like right on top. And if I'm thinking like right about here is where I want to capture that, the light or the liquid falling down. So that even looks like it's glowing from the inside, which is kind of cool. So we're going to do that currently. Um, and now what I need to do is I need to make sure my camera settings are good to go before I start dripping this milk into there. And so currently what I'm photographing at is, I am going to do my f-stop at like 3.5, so a little bit higher than what I normally, oops, sorry, a little bit higher than what I normally do, simply because I want more to be in focus than not. I don't want my focal point to be as low as it is sometimes. And then what I'm going to do is I am trying to freeze the liquid as it's trickling down. So I'm not necessarily doing a long exposure. If you have a tripod and you're able to uh, experiment with long exposures while doing this, by all means, definitely try. But I don't. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a shutter speed. We're going to try it around 400. And then my ISO, I'm just going to test it real quick just to make sure it's not too bright. And it is a little bit. So I'm going to take my ISO down to like 500. And then my white balance is, let's see, because the flower itself is kind of has some orange to it. I'm going to do my setting on, let me test it real quick. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to do my setting on tungsten light. You can also do like the Kelvin scale, and you can play around with whether you want it to be a little bit warmer or a little bit cooler. But for this, I'm just going to do the tungsten light setting, which is going to make this look just a little bit more blue, because the flower is so warm. And then there's light shining through it, giving it kind of a nice glowy effect. When I have it on any other setting, it just looks completely orange. And so just to give it a little bit more contrast, I'm going to add a little bit of blue to my white balance. And then if I need to warm it up in post editing, I can do that as well. But that way I'm not having to do it. I don't know. It just looks a little bit better with it cool. So, okay. So now what I might do, I might add in my other light just for the moment. So like I said, I have two of these lights. And I'm going to plug my other one in because I think it needs, and I'm going to make it pretty dim. But I think it just needs a little bit of light down there as well. So now let me retry my settings because that changed things quite a bit. So let's see. Okay, yeah, I think it just needed a little bit of light on the petals from down there. Now I do have my, oh yeah, oh, that's going to be cool. I do have my lens on autofocus. So you'll hear a beep as I'm taking photos. You can also do with manual focus. A lot of times people with a macro lens will do manual focus. If you're having problems with the camera only focusing on like the glass surface, definitely switch to manual focus. But it seems to be working for me really well on autofocus. And so I'm just going to go ahead and use that for now. So I'm going to give you guys a view as to what the milk looks like going on. You will, in between every flower type, you will need to likely switch your water depending on how much milk you put in there. And so you'll see like the water gets pretty murky, a little bit milky. So I'm going to take my milk here. And I suggest getting just a little bit at a time, like even just like that much at a time. Some air bubbles in there. Just, ooh, just so it's a little bit easier to control the amount going in. Because if you put it all in at once, it it's much harder to capture that way. So I'm going to put my camera in live view, and this is why having a tripod is ideal for this, because as I'm trying to do both now, it's a little bit tricky, but that's okay. So I'm going to take this up top. I'm going to go generally to the area that I want, and I'm just going to kind of squirt it in. And I'm going to start photographing. And I'll show you guys kind of my back of camera here in just a second. Make sure my settings are all good here. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more. And I'm going to add it, see if we can get it kind of coming out of the...
That's really cool.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
Now I
Yeah,
am
that's
actually going to switch. I'm going to switch to manual focus because as things are getting cloudier in here and things are moving, my autofocus actually isn't working as well as I want it to. So I'm going to switch to manual focus, which is even harder if you don't have a tripod, but that's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to I need to get a little bit more milk. So fill my syringe. I'm going to do a little bit more, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the flower this time and just let it kind of trickle out.
that's wild.
That is awesome.
The thing I like about not having a tripod is I'm able to move the camera, right?
Yeah.
The thing I hate about a tripod is it makes you stay in one spot, and I struggle with that. I want to have full creative freedom. Some I want to be closer up, some I want pulled back. And with a tripod, when you're doing something that's moving as quick as this liquid is, it's hard to adjust that. And so, um, if you're able to do it without a tripod, I highly recommend, just because it gives you a little bit more creative freedom, I feel. Because I am moving a lot. I'm getting some further back. I'm getting some more like macro up close. So we're going to aim for this spot over here. So I'm going to go in.
I like the ethereal quality of the bottom too, with the just the
Yes. See,
rows coming out.
it
That,
starts
that
getting
looks
real cool right there.
that looks real cool.
It's like it's ground fog.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And then when she's got
When
the
I was
top
on
lit up, it looks so cool.
when I was on the creative feedback session the other day with Pam, she goes, "Oh my gosh, I like your smoke and flower photos." And I go, "What if I told you it's not smoke and it's evaporated milk?" She goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, it's not smoke at all. It's milk." All right, we're just going to put some more in here. Let it do its thing.
I can see some slow motion video would be really cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be cool. And you're really good at those videos, Mark. So that'd be really a cool thing for you to do.
Yes, the brain is going wild right now, so
Yes.
possibilities.
Good. I'm glad. And then, let's say for example, like we're done with that lighting setup. And so let's do maybe something, oh, I don't know. I kind of just play around with it and I'm like, well, where can I put this? And this is where these little clips come in handy.
I'm
So,
definitely gonna try slow motion video with this.
yes.
That's a great idea.
Let's see. These aren't actually the clips that came with this either, so I don't know that it's gonna actually stay. Ah, it's not gonna stay. That's okay. Okay, so other things we can do then is let me think of where I'm liking the lighting. It's all just about playing with lighting, really, and seeing what you like. Now, the thing that the reason I really like using the white backdrop and a reflector is like this whole box itself is that if I were to have this out in the open, there would be no light reflecting and bouncing back onto it, right? It would just be the light would be escaping. Whereas
Yeah.
here we have like the mirrored edges. We have the white backdrop that's bouncing light all over in here. And it's just it's a little bit better to light your subject. So, okay. So over here, I know it's a little hard for you guys to see. I'll show you my back of camera here in a minute. I'm going to get this edge. There's a petal sticking out right here to the side. I'm going to get that um, with some milk on it, but I do because I did change my light source. I need to make sure that I check my settings. Because it's a little more intense there now. And so I'm going to increase my shutter speed um, to like, increase our shutter speed. I'm at like 1,000. So still 3.5 on my f-stop and ISO's at 500. And so again, I'm just going to put a small amount of milk in there. And we're going to go at it. Here we go. See, and it does get very ethereal feeling in there, which I love.
Yeah.
I'm back to trying manual focus or autofocus. So you guys will hear a beep every once in a while. I'm gonna do that one more time in that same area. And then hopefully I'll have a nice one to show you guys. And you'll see like I am not putting it right on that area because I want some time to be able to frame it with my camera. Um, so I'm kind of putting it more in the middle of the flower and letting it trickle over. I didn't get as much as I wanted to that time, so we're going to put a little bit more there.
It's the way it cascaded over that edge was awesome.
Right? And so if you have help and someone that can pour it in for you as you're ready to take the photos, that is really helpful to do. Um, but yeah, now you can kind of see like it's really kind of milky, and also you can even do it from the top. So if I bottom light it and then put just kind of swirl it up top, I can now go over the top and photograph in this box
Oh,
and get some really cool shapes that way as well. Let's see here. So let me show you guys a little bit of what this is looking like on my back of camera here. Let's see. So let me turn these lights off real quick and then we'll reset and maybe we'll try the white daisies in a second for the pigment. Let's see if this will, I don't know that it'll, maybe I can turn down my screen brightness. Give me 1 second.
I have to go for now, but I'm going to catch the rest of this when you upload the video.
Hey, yeah, for sure. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Jeannie.
Yeah. Let's see, where is my screen? LCD brightness, okay. Okay, let's see if that's better. So, and again, these are all kind of macro images. It's still kind of blowing out my screen, but that's okay. So just some really cool, oops, like things going on in there that you can then, in post, either crop them or however you're wanting to kind of edit them.
They look otherworldly.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's an excellent description.
Because if you the macro shots, if you don't know what you're looking at, you really don't know.
Right. Right. And it
Well,
looks so cool
Well,
here,
you
like
don't
just
know what
like
you don't know, of course, but like if
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
know that it's a
exactly.
flower, you might not guess that.
Right. And like I just love how the light's like shining, like it's literally making the flower glow, which is really cool. So like it's all just about experimenting with light and like look at that little cool little milk thing. Oh my gosh. Up here at the top it was doing some real cool things. I know it's hard to see because it's blowing it out, but I will post all these with the video as well. So just some really cool things you can kind of create for that. Um, what I'm thinking we'll do now is we'll try to mix. I've never done this myself, and so I'm gonna try to mix some pigment in there, and we'll do it with the daisies, and then we'll see how that works. So let me get this out of here.
Amber, are those electrical lights or battery powered?
They are USB, they're electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'll definitely make sure to send the link for them because I use them all the time. Like I started making jewelry, and so I do my jewelry in here, and um I've done like companies have hired me before to do product shots, and so I've done product shots in here. Um it's just a really cool little thing to have to kind of give you some a better way to bounce your light back.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had never found a really good one, but this looks like a really good one.
Yeah, and it's really nice. Like I'll show you guys after these daisies how it folds up. It folds flat, which is really nice. The other one that I had, you had to like Velcro it open, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. But sorry, I'm gonna fill it with water here real quick. But yeah, this one is, and I think it was pretty affordable, and it came with all the backgrounds, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick one of those up. I'm gonna try this.
Okay, so I've switched out the water, putting a new one in here. Though I don't know why. I'm gonna find something else to set that on because it keeps not being like a uniform height. I'm all about being creative with my tools, and so we're gonna put an ice cube tray in here. I'm like, I'll use whatever I need to use. There we go. Okay. So now let me show you guys how to do these daisies, and maybe what we'll do is we'll pick maybe a blue color or like a purple color. And now I'm just gonna try it. Like I said, I actually haven't tried this before, so I don't know how successful it's gonna be, but I think it might be kind of cool. So I'm going to put my daisies up here just to kind of test the height. So I really need them to be kind of right there. I'm just going to clip them and clip it again. I'll put this one a little lower. Okay, so I've got 3 daisies, and the flower frog is a little bit harder on the daisies just because the stem isn't as thick. But I just like to try to find a spot where they will. I'm gonna put them all together and create like one giant stem. Shove them in here. Hopefully they'll stay. Of course not. There are some spots in here where they're a little closer. The prongs are a little closer together. So I just kind of got to figure out where that is. Yeah. So what I did was I actually just folded over the stem to make it a little thicker, and then used that to pierce it. But I think the stems on these guys are just a little too thin. Let's see.
Those stems are really teeny.
Yeah, they're really teeny stems. Let's try to clip it a little. I did have one that was, okay, that worked. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, we'll see if that stays. So I kind of just stuck them on there. This bigger guy, I was able to fold the stem. It's a little bit of a thicker stem. So I was able to fold it and pierce it through. This little guy might float. We'll see. Okay, I do need to go in with, I'm going to go in with my stem here and reopen the petals. Okay, so they are in there now. That other one won't stay, but and now I've made another mess of water in front of me, so I'm going to quickly wipe that up. Okay, now again, we got to figure out where we want the lighting to be. Ooh, that one went in. So let's see. Ooh, I'm kind of liking to the side. Yeah, and maybe there. And these actually, so like I said, these lights here came with my light box that I didn't actually really like. But these lights were really good for that because they were magnetic and you could, so they had like a magnet back here and came with a thing that you could like put it on the other side. But this light box is actually a little too thick and does not allow them to be magnetic. And so that's kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. We're figuring it out. We'll go like right there. Okay, I'm gonna try to get off some of the little air bubbles. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take, I think what I'll do actually is just put a tiny amount of milk in this little cup. And that way we don't have to use as much pigment to turn it. I chose purple. And again, I don't know that this is going to work. But I just use like these bottle, let me see, these bottle watercolors. But you could do like acrylic paint. You could do anything that's going to kind of mix with the milk. So let's see how this turns out. I'm going to put just a few droplets. Stir with my little paintbrush. And it definitely turned it purple.
Purple cow.
So here we go. I'll show you guys. It's definitely purple. So now, before I drop my droplets of water, again, I'm gonna remake sure that my settings are good to go. Which now that I don't have that big orangish flower, it's a lot more blue. So I'm going to put my white balance to daylight setting, which is going to make it look a little bit more orange. And let's see. Okay. Almost got my settings to where I want them. So the settings for this guy are going to be, I'm actually going to move to auto white balance here. It's doing it a little bit better than that other setting. Okay. So the other thing that I need to do is clean off these smudges because my camera's currently capturing those. So if you have smudges or, like I said, water droplets, that could cause an issue with your focus. So I always keep, usually I keep like a bottle of alcohol, spray alcohol, just to clean like my lens with and anything that I need to clean that I want squeaky clean for optics. Okay. All right. So I think I have my settings the way I want them. I'm at a shutter speed of 400th, 3.5, and my ISO is at 640. I'm actually going to shoot a little bit further back rather than macro, just because this flower is more of like a flat flower. And so if I were to do macro, that could also be cool, but you're just not getting the full flower, which I kind of want here. So I think we are ready to go. So let me get some purple milk. I hope this works out. I think it'll be pretty cool if it does. I'm going to just fill up a small amount so that it's easier to control. We're going to put one droplet in. Let's see, I'm in manual focus. No, I want to be in autofocus. JK, JK. Okay.
Ooh, that looks really good with the white petals.
Yeah. Yep, that looks great.
That was super cool.
That was cool. Okay, let's do some more.
You really have to be ready to go really quickly with that.
You do, which is why it's really great to have someone who's going to help you. Would you want to do this as part of the retreat this weekend, Mark?
Um, I don't know. It looks like you had a kind of a full schedule. I
We
mean,
do have.
it'd be fun to try, but um,
I know
that's
we're pretty full.
that's up to you. I definitely will be trying this in the not too distant future. So
Perfect.
it just looks so awesome.
So now let me get a little bit more. So no, that was a lot. So currently I can't even see the flower, but it will settle. It'll start to settle. And this might even look cool from kind of up top.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
So what I might do is put this light there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, what I'm going to do, we'll do one more experiment with this guy and then we'll wrap up. Um, let's see. So we've got purple, and the opposite of purple is orange. And so we're going to do a little bit of complementary colors here. And so now that I'm going to even do a little bit more purple in there just to kind of get it all around.
More purpley.
Yep, exactly. Then I'm going to mix myself some orange milk. And we're going to contrast those two together.
Hey, Amber, is that light box? Is it like metal with a white inside, or is it like
No,
fabric?
it's like fabric, yeah. So it's flexible, it folds. Yeah, it's not hard shell at all. I
Okay.
mean, it's sturdy. It's pretty sturdy. But
The,
it's
the re
yeah.
the reason I ask is what you could do with those lights, since they have magnets on them, you can get those little round disc magnets and put those on the outside. And so if you wanted to place the light on like the side wall or the back wall or something like that, you could have, one or two of those, round like refrigerator magnets, just make sure the
Right.
pole is the same and they would stick and hold the light in place for you, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely should do that. And I could probably just super glue them onto it or something, huh?
Yeah,
That way it's um,
you could have because you said these lights have magnets on them already.
they do, yeah.
So what I'm saying is you put that on the inside and then put the little, circular magnets on the outside, and that would lock the light in place and you can move it wherever you wanted.
Yeah, yeah, that would be
Just an idea.
that is definitely what I should do. It definitely needs like the ones that these came with, the original light box was a lot thinner. And so the magnets that came with they're not as powerful, but I know those round ones are really powerful.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So yes, I should do that. Okay, so we're gonna add some orange here. And I'm gonna kind of switch the lighting a little bit. What do I want? Where do I want you? Maybe right there? I need more light. Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay. I know let me see if I can lower you guys so that you can see the flower a little bit more in there. So it looks murky, I know, but we're about to see kind of how this reacts with what I might do is photograph it more from the top. Okay, I think I'm going to photograph it more from the top. And so I'm actually going to turn on the overall light. Oh, let's plug you in. Yeah, okay. So let's add in some orange. And here I'm going to do, like I said, more of a top down. First, I'm going to get a picture of the daisy just like that because it's pretty cool. This is where my wider angle would be a lot better because actually I'm going to just scoot it out. I'll move you guys. I have a cabinet here that doesn't allow me to go in or go up as high as I would like. But now I just moved it. Okay, now I'm going to add some orange in there. And again, I don't know what this is going to look like because I've never done this before, but you don't know unless you experiment.
That's right.
And I'll show you guys kind of a top-down view here in a second of what I am looking at. Okay, let me show you guys what I am seeing. So if we go up top, you can see, so you do get the reflection of the ring light, but if you put it with the macro, it doesn't really make that much of a difference because it's so zoomed in. A wide angle, you're going to see that reflection. But what I've been doing is just going in and like dropping it down, and you can do a little bit at a time. You can do a lot of it at a time. It can just be total experimentation. So it turns out that the uh, watercolor, let me turn that back on. So I'll put this in the link as well, but I've just been using liquid watercolor. These came in a variety pack, so I have like 10 different colors. Those worked really well to give that kind of a pigment. So um, let me see if I can give you guys. So I'm actually going to turn myself around and I am going to show you guys some back of camera. Put that in there, okay. All right, I gotta figure out how to get my camera to stay. There we go. Okay, let me turn these guys off. I do have some other flowers that I'll probably try, but I know we're getting both videos. Class has been long, so but that's kind of generally the idea. Well, let's see. So top down, you can get some really cool things like the shape, the swirls of the water kind of over here. So top down is also really cool to experiment with. Or like these swirls, for example, which I know it might be a little hard to see, but I'll
Cool.
definitely be posting these in the group. And then yeah, just like let me see if I have a good one of the purple coming in. Yeah, just really cool kind of just a different kind of effect rather than the white, which I thought would be cool on a white flower to give it kind of a contrasting color. Um, and then, yeah, so I will then pop these into Photoshop and I'll crop them to kind of like you can, on some of them, you can see like the edge of the vase, which will be better if you have a deeper vase. So I will definitely put a link in for a much deeper vase than what I have. But yeah, that's pretty much how I do that. Do you guys have any questions?
Are you using 100 macro?
I am, yes. 100 macro does go down to 2.8. But like I said, for this, I was at, what was I at? 3.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that seems to work well for those distances.
yeah, it did work well. And, like I said, it's obviously if you're doing it by yourself, having a tripod will be easier to where you don't have to be like drop it and then like get into position. But I feel like it also limits me because I was like, some of them I was way back here, some of them I was up close. And with the liquid moving that fast, it's so much harder to adjust a tripod than it is yourself. Um, Even something that I did for the first time is I just put like a stand in front of me, like a box, and I set my camera on the box. And so I could still move it, but I still had the assistance of it being at the correct level that I wanted it to be at. And so, but it wasn't like tied to the box, right? Like if I wanted to move it, I could. So that's just kind of my style, though. I struggle with tripods on a daily basis. So um, yeah. What other questions do you guys have, if anything?
I don't know. I want to thank you, though. It's really cool.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for
yeah.
demoing that. It's just all kinds of
And like
possibilities.
I said, I will have this video on YouTube, which I'll send the link out to the group whenever the Wi-Fi on the island decides it can be uploaded, um, which takes anywhere from 6 to 7 business years. So eventually, I will have this. I'll start kind of working on it and getting it uploaded today. Probably it'll take a full 24 to 30 hours to upload. So,
Mm.
eventually, this will be on YouTube and you guys can revisit it. And um, yeah, but that's basically it. And you know, just remembering that it's all about experimentation. And I hadn't done the color before today. So it's just all one giant art project and all about experimentation and trying things and seeing what works and what doesn't. And it's just a really cool project, like for myself, when you know, I can see myself going to a florist in the winter and spending all day doing this when it's really cruddy outside. And just a really neat indoor activity. Maybe when I'm not feeling like going on a hike or whatever, I want to just like chill and do photography still. It's a great option. So,
Yeah.
all right, you guys.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks,
Um,
Amber.
there's
Thanks,
my
Amber.
ladybug friend. Oh, yay. I gotta go put my ladybug outside. He's like, where'd my flower go?
I don't think you want the flower right now, Miss
No,
Ladybug.
he's just chilling with me. Um, yeah, he doesn't want the flower, although I do have a rose right there. Here, buddy, hold on. Go on your flower. Not me, go on your flower. There you go. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned some new things. I hope you were inspired. And if you have questions while you guys are trying this, feel free to reach out to me and let me know.